In the heart of Arabia, a profound transformation was unfolding. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, had received the divine call to prophethood. He was chosen to guide his people towards the worship of one God, Allah, and to establish a just and compassionate society. This message, however, was met with resistance from the idol worshippers of Mecca. They felt threatened by the Prophet's monotheistic teachings, which challenged their deeply rooted beliefs and practices. Despite facing opposition, the Prophet remained steadfast in his mission. He continued to preach the message of Islam with unwavering conviction and patience. His followers, though small in number, faced persecution with incredible resilience. They found strength in their faith and the Prophet's unwavering commitment to spreading the message of peace and unity. However, as time went on, the persecution intensified. The Prophet's followers were subjected to boycotts, physical abuse, and even torture. The Prophet himself endured insults, threats, and attempts on his life. The situation in Mecca grew increasingly dire, prompting the Prophet to seek support elsewhere. The Prophet's uncle, Abu Talib, a respected leader in Mecca, had always provided him with protection. However, Abu Talib's health was deteriorating, and the Prophet feared that his enemies would become even bolder once his uncle passed away. It was in this context of increasing hostility and danger that the Prophet decided to embark on a journey to the nearby city of Ta'if.
Ta'if, a fertile valley known for its vineyards and orchards, was located about 60 miles southeast of Mecca. It was home to the tribe of Thaqif, who were known for their influence and power in the region. The Prophet hoped that they would be more receptive to his message than the people of Mecca. He believed that their acceptance of Islam could provide a much-needed refuge for his persecuted followers and help spread the message of Islam further afield. Accompanied by his loyal adopted son, Zayd ibn Haritha, the Prophet set out on the arduous journey to Ta'if. The journey was long and tiring, especially under the scorching desert sun. Despite the physical challenges, the Prophet's spirit remained unbroken. He carried with him the hope of finding a safe haven for his followers and spreading the message of peace and compassion. Upon arriving in Ta'if, the Prophet approached the leaders of the Thaqif tribe. He presented them with the message of Islam, calling them to abandon their idols and worship the one true God. He spoke of the importance of justice, equality, and compassion for all. He shared his vision of a society where people live together in harmony, free from oppression and injustice. The Prophet's message, however, was not well received by the people of Ta'if. They were proud of their traditions and their status in the region. They looked down upon the Prophet and his followers, considering them to be a threat to their social order and way of life. Instead of listening to the Prophet's message with open hearts and minds, the leaders of Ta'if responded with hostility and disdain. They mocked him, insulted his teachings, and refused to even consider his words. They saw him as a threat to their power and influence and were determined to drive him away. Their rejection soon turned into cruel mistreatment. The people of Ta'if, incited by their leaders, began to hurl insults and abuses at the Prophet. They pelted him with stones, inflicting pain upon his blessed body. The Prophet and Zayd were chased through the streets of Ta'if by a mob who showed no mercy. The Prophet and Zayd ibn Haritha were finally driven out of Ta'if, their bodies wounded and their spirits heavy with sorrow. They sought refuge in a nearby garden, exhausted and heartbroken. It seemed as though their mission to spread the message of Islam was destined to fail. The pain from the physical wounds was excruciating, but even more unbearable was the pain of rejection and the despair of seeing his message rejected by his own people. The Prophet's journey to Ta'if was a stark reminder of the challenges he faced in spreading the message of Islam. Even in the face of such adversity, the Prophet never lost sight of his mission. He remained committed to spreading the message of peace, compassion, and justice, even when met with hatred and violence.